Well, that's a double. Well, hello. We are starting over because we messed up the first time. So that's like 3 out of 3 on times we messed up the first time. But welcome back to another podcast week. Um,
Woo!
yeah, I think this week starts off a little interestingly. We had quite the drama go down this week. Um,
Yep.
And I think whatever side you are on, whatever division you are on, it was not handled well on either side. I don't think Penn State handled it well. I don't think Stony Brook handled it well. And I think we need to fix some of that and figure out some guidelines for how personal we want to make fantasy football be.
Yeah. I mean, I think we could come out with something more formal, but definitely I'd say cursing people out crosses a line. So let's try to stay away from that.
Yes, and egging people on who are clearly upset is also not a move, Skull Daddy. Um, so I think Jake and I have kind of talked to our respective sides, and we need to not act like that moving forward. I think some things need to be figured out moving forward, but here we are. We will stop talking about it now until something formal comes about, I guess.
Yeah, not worth going into too much. In the future, if you do want to quit, just quit because it just whoever you're trying to punish, you're just gonna end up punishing me and Chris because we have to fix everything. So
I
obviously, don't want anyone to
go
quit this
asleep
season.
putting those rosters back together.
Yeah,
It remember I am 2 hours behind all you guys. It was like 7 a.m. when my phone was going crazy. So
yeah.
stop it. Um. Anyway, let's just get started with first game of the week.
Yep.
Myself versus Trent. Trent squeezes by a larger margin thanks to some Mark Andrews catches in the fourth quarter there. But really good game. Josh Allen proves that he might be QB1.
Might be QB1.
Okay. He's QB1. I mean, I think there's still some arguments for Mahomes. I think a few weeks ago we were talking about Lamar. But yeah, he's QB1.
I don't know. Let's see. Always over 30 attempts plus rushing. So I think Josh Allen's been QB1 for the last 2 years and probably the next 5 years, unless something crazy happens. Um, Other than that, another disappointing game from Chase. Uh, and your RBs aren't looking like, well, Kamara had a good game, but the rest of them aren't looking like what you expected, I don't think.
Yeah, and it turns out, I mean, the game flips if I start Derek Carr last night instead of Trevor Lawrence. I liked the matchup. I thought Trevor Lawrence would have a bounce back game. He did not put it in the end zone. His 2 picks hurt. And I think, Mark Andrews being Mark Andrews, when you have a tight end like that, just the positional value of having a great tight end, and I think we'll see that more later, makes it very difficult for anybody to win. Um, I think the real question for Trent moving forward, what the heck do you do at QB2?
Yeah, seems like he should be in the market. I
Yeah.
haven't really seen him super active chat or anything, so I don't know how much attention he's paying, but
I mean, the lineups are being set. He's doing his thing. I think the real question is just how much of the drama he wanted to get into this week. And maybe he should have went to his boy Mitch and got Davis Mills because that was not the biggest haul Mitch got for him.
yeah, it's relatively. fair value, I guess.
Yeah,
I can't imagine someone paying all that much more, but
I think that's fair too.
Trevor sent me a ridiculous trade this morning, also. But no need to go
Mr.
into that.
Delusional never stops. The only other thing is freaking Tyler Lockett, man. I guess I need to start considering starting him. He literally just kind of sits there.
Yeah.
But
Uh, hard to imagine Seattle keeps this up all year with Gino, but never know, I guess.
Gino's on the block, Trent. Cam
Yeah.
is looking for, I don't know, apparently first round picks, maybe. I don't know.
No
But
idea.
anyway, I think we can move on to what was called the Battle of Champions because Sean and Lyman played this week. What turned out to be the Battle of a Joke.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
not to like hash back to it, but Lemon, man, that was bad. That was real bad. And it's worse because of the trades you've made with Sean before. So let's fix that moving forward. But we're gonna talk about the game now. Sean, at this point, may have the most talent in the league. Also, Lemon made a trade and didn't set a lineup.
Yep.
Kelsey had 30. He had 25 yards but had 30 points, so that's kind of fun.
Yeah. I mean, I think Sean's team still, depending on how Goff does the rest of the year, but he's still probably looking for a QB2, I would think.
Interesting.
But I mean, getting McCaffrey for what he got him for really bolsters the team and makes it pretty hard to beat at this point. I think there's still a lot of teams that can be competitive with this team, but definitely one of the favorites moving forward.
I know. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what you think about Goff right now. I think 3 weeks ago he was looking like a legit QB2. Now maybe it's a question mark, but I mean, if Sean stays healthy, he's a tough team to beat. You know, there are some health concerns, but Chubb is doing Chubb things. I mean, he is RB1, I think, right now. Maybe RB2, but I think we move on from this game. I'm kind of done talking about it.
Yep. Lamb chopped in instead of lineup, so no need to talk.
Yeah, I think there's a sour taste in my mouth on that game.
Next game was what used to be Rogers Pack versus Cam. Too many cooks.
Yeah, so another game with some sour taste this week. I feel like we are not our joyous selves on this podcast this week compared to some in the past. But Cam, great win, puts him in first place in Stony Brook. Proud of you, buddy. You did wonderful. Newman, whose name I honestly don't know. I've just been calling him Mr. Taint.
His name's Bryce.
Hello, Bryce. I'm still going to call you Mr. Taint. But he steps in with a playoff caliber team. Some injuries are really going to hurt that team. We'll see what happens with the QB position. The two are being hurt. Sorry if I didn't fix the roster the way I should have. Herbert went back to being nothing in Chicago with Demont back. So easy to get through this one. Cam kind of dominated.
Yeah, Cam kind of dominated. We did a poor job at 9 o'clock setting the lineup since Keenan was out apparently, but I don't think anything. There wasn't any play we had to beat Cam this week, so it didn't really matter at the end of the day.
Yeah, I mean Cam. Also, I mean the Geno 1-2 is just amazing, and so really hard to see where Cam is going to struggle if Gino is going to be a top 5 QB in the league.
Yeah, Gino working out for him is awesome for him. I really think the Javonte injury is going to wind up being huge for him.
Yeah,
the Broncos aren't great, but they like to run a lot. So,
from what I've heard through the grapevine, Mr. Taint has been on the trade moves coming up. So everybody out there, check your pending trades or your chats and see what Mr. Taint has available for you. But I think, again, I think we just need to move on from these two games. Let's have some fun because Mr. Delusional lost to Biondi, and that is awesome. Yay, Biondi.
Yeah, Trevor was asking for a lot of respect, and a lot of respect means we both picked him this week, which means he automatically lost.
It's crazy how bad we are at picking. I mean, Trevor did go out and get a QB2 this week, but
ish.
He starts.
That's true. He does start.
He did drop Huntley because he's fun and a pain in the butt. But I mean, look, this was a rebuild year that Trevor has turned into a winning year so far. Eckler did his thing. Nobody else did. Biondi, thank you. Kenneth Walker now is a starter. I'm sorry, Rashad Penny. As someone who has broken their fibula, I see you, man. I know it's not fun.
Yeah. Tough. Biondi's creeping up on some injuries. Olave got a concussion this week.
Mm-hmm.
So that kind of limited him there. Still got the win, so it didn't really matter. I mean, Trevor's whole team was, I think Eckler got like half his points. So, yeah, but I like Biondi's got Rondell now, and he's looking pretty good. So, I don't know. Maybe Biondi's another person that maybe somehow in contention since I'm terrible.
Yeah, and I mean, who knows what to do with Hawkinson because that man had, 40 last week and had 6 yards this week?
Yeah. That's the story of Hawkinson's life and most tight ends' life, to be honest. But, well, not 40, but having bad games.
Yeah.
Tight end's a bad position.
It can be. I mean, there are some guys that are special. I don't know if Hawkinson's in that special echelon, but Biondi's fun. Gabe Davis, I guess, is that man?
3 catches.
He only had like 5 targets, but he put up 2 touchdowns and like 170 yards. So,
yeah, doing Gabe Davis things. So,
yeah. And
Trevor's a fun team, though.
I just like that Trevor lost. It makes life so much more fun because he is a pain. For any of you that have met or know Trevor, the worst. Just the worst. He texted me after the podcast last week and was like, "I'm sorry you weren't on video, so I couldn't see how you looked when you talked about me beating you." Like, God, he's just miserable. He's one of my favorite people ever, but God, is he a miserable person. Miss you, Trevor. All right, let's move on to another really fun game because Weop got upset. Big T with a huge win. Very proud of my boy Tommy. I mean, are his running backs the real deal?
So I was going to bring this up, but I think that somehow, even though he's not looking to win this year, he probably has the best running backs in the league.
I don't know if I'm ready to say that yet.
I don't know.
I do want to go back to a conversation we had when he traded for Marcus Mariota and Rashad Bateman. Because we kind of argued, and I was like, Tom is like an outside shot of the playoffs. Like, if things go really well, Tom's got a shot. Right now, the league is just everyone is in the middle. You have Trent and Cam up there, and then everybody else is kind of sitting mid pack. And he can find himself in that top 6.
Hey, a couple moves and he should be in there. So
I mean, Mariota is like just consistently putting up points in Atlanta. I mean, I don't know, he's probably like a top 20 QB.
yeah.
Russell Wilson looks really bad, but I mean, if the running backs put up 50 every week, then what's the difference?
Yep. Doesn't
And that's
really
with
matter.
Bateman and Allen Robinson not doing what I think I at least anticipated them doing before the season started.
Yeah. Should be interesting to see how he gets through buys. Obviously, not super deep since he wasn't looking to contend this year, but could always add that as well. So you never know.
Yeah, and then on the other side, it's not like Mitch had a bad game, really.
Yeah.
It's just that like everyone not named Patrick Mahomes didn't play up to potential.
Yeah. Surprise week from Brady playing Atlanta. Gotta think you were expecting a lot of points there. Everyone else kind of didn't do all that much and didn't really get touchdowns, so it
And
ended up being a down week for Mitch. Which
the only one there that's really a surprise to me is AJ Brown only putting up like 4. Everyone else is kind of like, yeah, if you don't score a touchdown, that's where they'll be.
yeah,
Yeah.
I guess so.
And then we move on to a really fun last game. Let's go, Danny! Woo! I was so happy. My boy Danny got a win. I don't remember who he beat. Jake, can you remind us?
That would be me.
Let's go, Danny!
Yeah, yeah. Danny, what can you say? Danny had a great game. Leonard Fournette absolutely toasted me. So I guess that's where all Brady's points went, talking about that. Pickett, not great, to be honest. I was expecting a little more, just given I figured he would throw 52 times, just like he did. Evan Ingram, I think, deserves some talk. He's been pretty decent, I feel like. Or maybe that's just in my mind.
I mean, I think decent's probably a little bit strong, but he's like a tight end. He has been the number 15 tight end. So, like, in a 12-team league, he theoretically shouldn't be a starter, but he's right on the cusp.
Yeah. Game could have gone even worse. If he started Ramondre, that really would have put the dagger in me there. But didn't really matter this week.
No, I mean, I think the real story coming out of this week is your injury bug is a problem.
It's wild. I feel like there's someone going down every week. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 players hurt this week.
Yeah, and Demont is back, so that's huge. Daquan looked awesome. Zeke got 20-something carries, so that's a big, at least, usage. Your wide receivers, I feel like, have never really came up to their potential. Quan just hit a home run, so the Yankees are down 1.
Who did?
Quan. Hitter. Also, for anyone who didn't see, Yarden's freaking home run to walk off for Houston today was wild. That was a bomb and a half. But anyway.
Jordan's the man.
Yeah, he's crazy talented. But anyway, yeah, I think some signs for Pickett that are really good. Not getting into the end zone is tough. But I mean, again, Danny, I think the big thing with Danny is just the young guy's inconsistency right now.
Yep.
It's just like they don't play well all together.
Yeah, I mean, Devontae Smith seems like he's doing the one good week, one bad week thing. So sorry, I got the good week. Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, young players, that's going to happen. Ramondre should be really good until Damian Harris gets back, so he's got that going for him.
Yeah, and I think he can legit start the 3 running backs. I mean, Pollard is always a really interesting one. Penny getting hurt is going to hurt him for the win column, but probably help him with the draft. He's in the CJ Stroud fight, the Bryce Young fight.
Yeah.
I will give everyone the heads up. Trevor prefers Bryce Young to CJ Stroud, just so everybody knows how he wants to draft, because he's a pain. All right. I think we can move on.
Let's move on. I think we're probably over time right now.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Our picks this week.
Yeah, that was terrible. Very so if you want to know what's gonna happen in fantasy, just do whatever me and Chris say isn't gonna happen.
Wait. I picked Cam, didn't I? I thought you picked Sarush and I picked Cam. I definitely picked Cam. Someone go back and watch and let me know, because I definitely picked that Sarush's injuries were going to make him lose.
Pretty sure I listened to the podcast. I did listen to the podcast as I was putting these in.
Someone go listen to that. I'm pretty sure I picked Cam. But anyway, it's fine. Either way,
we'll figure that out afterwards. But basically, me and Chris picked wrong on pretty much everything this week. So
yeah, the only one I got right, or the only one of us got right, was Sean. And we hate Sean.
Yeah.
Big T with the upset. Trevor killing us. You killing us. I guess I shouldn't have confidence in myself. So.
Yeah.
There we go.
We'll see how next week's picks go.
Yeah. Standings are pretty straightforward. Trent and Cam are way up in front. Everyone else is kind of sitting middle. You and Danny kind of sit at 1 and 4 at the bottom.
Yeah.
All right. Power rankings.
So we both have Trent at 1.
I mean, I think he's number 1 until he loses.
Yeah.
We did. You put an. Oh, you. I didn't know what the asterisk was for. All right. As you can tell, we do this live because I didn't know what the asterisk was for that Jake put. Interesting move. So I went Sean second. I think his combination of Chubb and McCaffrey is too much. I think he put himself in the I think he is the best team now. Legitimately.
Yeah. Maybe.
Yep. Cam being second, though, I can't hate. He is winning games and had a really, really good week again.
Yeah, we got to remember Cam has Dak coming back as well, so he has a QB advantage over pretty much everyone.
Yeah.
So that's kind of why I put him where he was. Plus, it got me to throw some spite at Sean, so that was just an added bonus.
Fair enough. Moving on to 4. I do like that I just put people's name and you put their actual team name. And as you can tell, I didn't know Taint Man's name because he is just Taint Man. And so Taint Man at 4, I think that one's pretty obvious. Welcome to the league, Mr. Taint.
Yeah, welcome to the league. Got gifted a pretty nice team, given you have 0 picks, because that's how Sarush always rolled. So hopefully you could win this year.
He's finished second with that team 2 years in a row.
That's true.
All right, we both went with Mitch 5. I think that was pretty obvious, even though he lost bad this week. His points.
Yeah, I think there's a pretty good argument year 5, but whatever. It's all kind of the same.
Yeah.
Until you get to 7 or 8, depending on how you look at things.
he certainly went different the further down you go.
We had the same last person.
Yeah, we did not have the same 7 through 11. 6, we both put me. I just don't have a running back.
Yeah.
I mean, Kamara played well this week, but someone trade me a running back, please.
Yeah, I think you and Mitch are both looking for running backs right now. That's kind of how I see things. Not sure Mitch's running backs are working out the way he wanted them to, but I feel him on that point myself. So don't rely on running backs.
For 7, I'm really annoyed I still put Trevor this high. I really wanted to put him lower after just a terrible performance. But you know what? I'm thinking about it. Big T is 7 for me. Trevor, you're down at 8.
Yeah.
I lost. You're down at 9. You lost to Biondi last week. You're just falling down the row. I'm just going to be a hater on Trevor this week.
All right. That works.
Yeah.
Trevor's team, still some pretty big holes. If he does want to switch to contending, he has draft capital, so he probably can. But what he sends me with that draft capital is terrible, so maybe he doesn't want to contend.
He is tough to trade with because he does the trade calculators. He does trades that make sense, but he puts 85 things on from one side and the best player in the world on the other. Yes, it's fair, but you can get the best player in the league for 85 fifth-round picks too. Theoretically, it's even.
Yeah.
Um,
yeah, but I don't know. We'll see. Eckler looks like a monster, so that's always going to keep him in the game. Moving on, I went Lamb Chop. You went Big T.
I think Lamb Chop's team is awful without CMC.
I mean, he's been winning games and when CMC wasn't doing much, so.
I think his team is awful without CMC. Big T with the running backs could be really scary. Proud of my boy Tom. More wins this year, maybe than last year at this point in time. Than all of last year is what I'm trying to say. But yeah, I think you could go either way with 8 through 12, really.
Yeah, go whichever way you want. I'm putting me at 12 for sure since I'm terrible. But yeah, Lamb Chop. I think we both went Biondi. That was kind of obvious, big week. So he gets to move up. I went Big T. I'm probably too low on Big T. When I was doing this, I thought I was too low, but put him there anyway.
They have the best running backs in the league, arguably the most important position, and you still have him at 10. That says a lot about how you feel about the rest of his team.
Well, I think it's more of a quarterback thing for me. I mean, I'm not one to talk, but Russ looks awful, and I don't know. We'll see if we'll see. I don't know how long Mariota will hold that job, or if I mean it's possible he holds it, but he could lose that job too. So don't want to get ahead of myself.
Fair enough. And then I think one of the last people we need to talk about is Danny. I had Danny up at 10. He go won a game this week. Danny is on the come up. We're going to talk about Danny every week this year. Is that Danny has next year to hope for? He has 3 first-round picks this year. That man's team is going to go from this to a contender very quickly.
Yeah, should be interesting to see if he leverages those for some win now players and keep some picks, or what he's planning to do there. But don't think Danny's made a lot of wrong moves in this league so far, so like it.
No, I think almost every trade I've seen Danny make, I'm like, that was a great decision.
Yep.
If not every trade. And then we're up to you. You're bad.
Yep.
You're injured.
Terrible.
Worse.
Bad at fantasy, so take advantage of me.
I mean, I think the real question for you is, when does tank mode start?
Yeah, I mean,
I feel like it's too early.
It's probably a little too early. I mean, I'm always fielding offers, so if people are sending stuff, I'll take a look. But not gonna definitely not gonna rush anything. Still a lot of season left, and who knows what'll happen. Everyone's kind of in the middle, so
Yeah.
one big weekend you're kind of back in it.
All right.
Stop sharing my screen.
Get to know our secrets. Oh man, I'm all zoomed in again, but so are you. I'm so bad at Skype.
What happened?
So bad at Skype. I'm all zoomed in and I hate it. Oh, I fixed it. Oh no, I'm just bouncing around now.
All right. Well, I did the preview this week, so our first game is Skullcap versus Mitch Yop.
Yeah.
I try to do the team names because I don't think everyone knows each other's names, so
That's fair.
try to throw those in there. But I think this should be a pretty tight game, and both teams are pretty competitive, both top 5 in our rankings this week. So that's kind of why I chose them as the game of the week this week.
I think that's probably the right choice. I mean, I think it's probably the game of the best two competitors this week. It's probably the game that people will say is the most competitive. I think it's clearly the game of the week. I think we all are rooting for Mitch this week. I think we will see what happens then. But hopefully Mitchell does some things and gets a win this week.
Yeah, hopefully. I think pretty much everywhere the matchups are interesting, to say the least. Could see it going either way between the running backs, Mixon and Jones versus McCaffrey and Chubb, and then receivers. I say that Mitch has a slight advantage there, but I don't know. Amari's been awesome, so who knows? And then I think there's 2 high upside guys in the flex. So
yeah, I think Jared Goff on a bye means Matt Ryan is starting this week. I think Mahomes could be the difference maker here. I think the QB battle, I would favor Mitch. Running backs, I think Sean clearly wins. Tight end, Sean clearly wins. Wide receivers kind of toss up. So I think it really depends on how much you pick, how much importance you put on the QB.
yeah.
All right, let's go with predictions. Who you got?
I went with Mitch this week.
All right, I went Sean.
Fun.
And so we're already disagreeing, which means that that's fun. No one is a guaranteed L because when we both pick them, it's a guaranteed L.
Yep, pretty much. All right, moving on to the next game. We have Trent versus Lamb Chop. I labeled this game as who's more MIA in the chat since neither of them write anything in there. I don't know what to say about this game. Probably a bigger matchup a week ago if they had the same team from a week ago. But I think this game still stays close just because Trent doesn't have a second quarterback.
Trent really doesn't have a second. Trent doesn't have much depth at this point in time. I mean, like you look at that bench, and he like doesn't have a backup running back after those two. He doesn't really have a wide receiver that you probably feel super confident throwing in there. So if he has some injury issues this week, like
you could throw Terry in there, but
that's it. And who knows what T. Higgins is looking like right now? Tyreek dealing with some injury stuff. So
Tyreek too. So I don't know. Maybe this should be an upset. Who knows? But
this feels like a game Lamon just like steals somehow. But he also like literally, I guess you can play Duvernay or Samuel in the flex position because like if Pierce was playing, I think I'd feel much better about Lamon. Pierce being out, you have to start Miles Sanders and ETN because there's nobody else. I think that evens it out.
Yeah, I agree.
All right.
All right, I
you
guess
go.
we could go to predictions now. I am going lamb chop.
Ooh, upset alert.
Yeah, had to go against the chalk here. I think this is Trent's first loss. So, um, yeah, I think T Higgins may not play. So I think that really I don't know where he goes in the flex. I mean, maybe it's just not enough because the teams are that uneven. But I figure this is a good one to go against the chalk at.
I don't hate it. If Damian Pierce wasn't on a bye this week, I would have picked Lemon. Without Damian Pierce, I just don't know what he does in certain positions. I'm gonna pick Trent to go 6-0. I don't know, 6-0.
Fair enough. All right.
That's
On
a
to the next
bomb.
one.
It's tied, baby.
What's time? Oh,
Yankee game. Your boy Harrison Bader.
uh,
He's
is he
hitting.
up?
That was a bomb.
Nice.
Um.
I
Anyway,
like Harrison.
up to Trevor versus Cam. I'm very confused at how you labeled this game "good people."
Yeah, I didn't.
This game, Cam. This is the Hate Trevor week on the podcast.
All right. Well, I I sat there for 2 minutes and tried to think of a good name for this game, and I came up with nothing. So I just wrote something there.
Fair enough.
In terms of the game itself, I mean, other than the running back position, I don't really know where it's even that all that close. Given Trevor has some guys that could go off at any time, so that's a advantage. Also, I like that Trevor traded for Davis Mills on his bye week, so that was interesting.
This is your Trevor news.
So I don't know if Trevor's going to have a QB2 here. Other than that, I think Cam kind of wins at every spot, other than maybe the first running back.
No, I think Trevor's running backs probably outscore Cam's. I think Cam's wide receivers beat up on Trevor's. I think Cam's QBs beat up on Trevor. I mean, I think Everett could outscore Higbee at tight ends, but like that's not a guarantee. And even if he does, I can't imagine it's by much.
Yeah.
At this point, pretty fair to just jump straight to predictions. I'm going Cam.
Yep, I went Cam also, so no differences between us on that one.
I think Trevor will win.
Ugh, that'd be terrible.
I know. I kind of want to change my picking. I just want him to lose. Welcome, Cam.
All right. Next game is me versus the new guy, Taint Grass / Bryce, however you want to call him. My question for this game is, can I actually get lucky since he has players out that are good, like Devontae, and he has Devontae's out and Derrick Henry's out. So I think that gives me a slight chance in this game.
Well, I really think that if Keenan Allen doesn't play, you have a really like jinx that. But like, I don't know what is going to happen at the tight end position this week. I haven't heard anything about Pitts or right now. So I don't know if you have a tight end playing on your roster this week. I think this game, when I was looking at it, felt like it comes down to picking the right person to wide receiver.
Yeah. We're going Pickens, so let's see what the kids got.
Decision has been made. Didn't know that. I think running back, I pick you pretty easily. If Keenan Allen's not playing, I don't really know what he does at wide receiver other than Waddle. Right now is going 2 tight ends. Herbert, again, didn't do much last week. He doesn't have a wide receiver to go.
Yeah, it should be an interesting week. I kind of like the two tight ends. Both of them have been played well. Njoku's been awesome this year, and Kittle maybe. So I don't know. Should be interesting. Uh, hopefully I get the win. I guess we should do predictions.
I am picking you to upset Tank Grass because I don't think with all the players he doesn't have playing.
Yeah, I'm picking me big breakout week. Jonathan Taylor plays. George Pickens drops 20. We're gonna go for 150 this week.
So, Mr. Tank, congratulations on winning first week in the league because Jake and I are not successful when we pick.
Yep.
All right. Moving on to Beyondy versus Danny. Both guys coming off big wins this week.
Yes, sir. I guess the biggest thing in this game is the running back matchup is actually pretty awesome. It's funny how all the teams we thought were going to be tanking have the best running backs now. Should be interesting. Ken Walker gets a big boost, and then I think there's a big battle there. And I think both teams have wide receivers that are hit or miss. So not sure what Beyondy's going to do at tight end here. So that'll be interesting. But other than that, yeah, I think it's relatively even overall. Both teams are going to start one quarterback.
I don't believe. Yeah, I mean, it's hard because I think if Tannehill wasn't on his bye, I would very easily pick Danny going into this game. Having that 2 QB, the fact that all he has is Pickett. I mean, Stevenson should probably find his way into the starting lineup over Pollard, but at this point in time, I think I would take Fournette and Stevenson. Beyondy's running backs. I don't know what Beyondy's tight end situation looks like. I don't know what Olave looks like. And I feel like Danny just has a little more depth that I trust and Beyondy does with Hawkinson on a bye, with Nico Collins on a bye. So I'm going Danny to win 2 in a row here.
Yeah, I went Steve. Just think I like his quarterback a little better this week. And then tight ends, they could both get 0, even though, even if Beyondy doesn't start one. So I don't really have too much in for that. And it looks like Jameis has a shot at playing. So maybe Beyondy gets to start 2 quarterbacks, which would be a big advantage.
Fair enough. I think my big thing is the running back in this game. And I think Danny's running backs with Steve are just going to be better.
Yeah.
All right.
Fair enough. All right. Last but not least, Mr. Christopher himself.
I kind of think this is a more fun matchup than Sleeper does right now. I think we've talked about it with his running back situation. The problem being Jacobs is on a bye.
Yeah. Would have maybe gone Big T if he had Jacobs this week, but I think Jacobs being out hurts a lot, and I think this was an easy one for me. I just went you.
So I think I think it is more interesting than probably what people will say. I mean, I do think I have an advantage in most positions here. I'll give myself QB advantage. I'll give myself wide receiver advantage. I'll give myself tight end advantage, but that's neither here nor there and very slight. At RB, even with Mostert, like I guess I pick Harrison Kamara at this point over Hall and Mostert, but it feels like the best of the 4 right now is Breece Hall.
Yep, have him in my Yahoo league, so pretty happy about that.
He's looked great. I'm a little torn here just because Tom has been on a winning streak. I think my real problem is Josh Jacobs not being, which I mean, I guess is not a problem for me. It's awesome for me. With Josh Jacobs not playing, I will also go meet.
All right. Well, I think that's kind of it. Definitely a little lower energy than our previous podcast, but it's been a rough week. So hopefully we have a good week this week and we can get back to something a little more exciting next week.
Yeah, and I mean, I think we have some benefit. Mr. Taint has come into the league and really set the league on fire. It's been fun. He has been making stuff happen. I appreciate that, Mr. Taint. Your name is not going to be whatever. Just so fair. Your name is Mr. Taint. What's crazy is that we agreed on 3 games, and if we are wrong on all 3 of them, we usually are. Trevor, Mr. Taint, and Tom get wins, and so I'm pretty okay with that. Other than Trevor
winning. Yeah, sure.
And promise to make this a more upbeat next week. Let us keep some civility this week. And we may need to figure out what we trades that will finish it off here even shorter than we were last week by a few minutes. So that's lovely. Less for you guys to watch. Also less entertaining. So we're working on
it. All right. Sounds good.
All right. Stop this recording.